Welcome to Family Friendly Circle Time. We're going to start off today's group with our share and show portion. I just always get so excited when I see your guys' photographs and entries of previous activities that you as a family have participated in with our Family Friendly Circle Time. So I want to take the time now to show it with everybody out there. Welcome everyone. Now you're here, let's have some fun. We'll read a book and make some friends. We'll do an activity and play pretend. Welcome everyone. I am so glad that you have come. For today's Family Friendly Circle Time, we are going to be reading the book Stick by Irene Dixon. Stick. Find a stick, a very useful stick. Walk with it. Throw it. Tap it. Balance with it. Swish it. Draw with it. Stir with it. Throw it again. Wave it. Drop it. See it fall. Watch it float. Find some sticks. Some very useful sticks. The end.
Hi, welcome to the activity portion of Family Friendly Circle Time.
So today we have a craft that has been inspired by the book we just read. Stick, yeah. So obviously there are, as seen in the book, there are many different things you can do with stuff found in nature and a stick. You can have lots of fun with it. We are going to be using a stick that we found in nature and kind of turning it into a craft activity. So we are going to be making today these little stick creatures. Yeah, so that's one that we've already made, and then we're going to make another one for the demo. So what you're going to need, well, before I guess we get started, what I should say is, again, like all the other crafts, there really is no right or wrong way to make your stick creature. We're going to kind of keep it a little more simple. We're going to use some fabric, some string, some googly eyes, and some glue. But if you have really little children, I would say 3 years and younger, you're probably going to want maybe to get out a little bit of paint and let them kind of, it might not look like, in the end, it might not look so much like a kind of regular creature with the head on top and, maybe, and I guess this could be true with any age. Maybe your kid wants to glue 10 googly eyes all over the stick. That's okay. So we're just kind of using this as a guide, but feel free to get as creative as you want with your stick creatures and just kind of have fun with experimenting with glue and sticking things on the stick and seeing what happens. And if you want to bust out some paint, and do some paint, or if you want to bring out some markers and draw on the stick, feel free to do that, okay? So what you're going to need for today's activity is a stick. So go out and find yourself a stick in nature. They're everywhere. So get yourself a stick. I recommend before starting, if you find a stick that has a lot of bark and stuff on it, it makes it harder to stick things to. So I recommend if you do have a stick that has lots of bark and peeling stuff, just to kind of give it a quick peel, get rid of as much of the bark as you possibly can before gluing your stuff on. So if you can have kind of more of a smooth surface, then the stuff will stick better to your stick. So you'll need a stick. The other thing that you'll need for today's activity is just some fabric. So any spare fabric you have around your house, it could be old clothes that your kid, or old socks that your kids are done with, or maybe mismatched socks that you can't find the pair to anymore, or an old t-shirt that you can cut up. If you have spare fabric laying around, great, so fabric, you'll need some fabric. And if you have some string, so yarn, string, anything like that to kind of make the hair out of, okay? The other things you'll be needing are some scissors to cut the fabric with. Now, if you have younger children and you don't feel comfortable with them using scissors, then maybe parents, you might want to pre-cut the little fabric strips for them so that everything's already cut and ready before you start your activity. And then they can just take the materials and start gluing, which is fine too. But if you're comfortable with your kids using scissors, then you can let them go ahead and cut up the fabric and the string themselves. That's up to you as a parent. The other thing that you might want is like a Sharpie. We just have a black one to draw on the mouth after, but if you want some colored Sharpies or markers you have laying around the house just to do some coloring on your stick, that's great. One important thing, if you have them, we are going to be using googly eyes to glue onto our sticks for our stick creatures. They're lots of fun. They kind of make the sticks come to life. So googly eyes is recommended. If you don't have googly eyes and you don't feel like kind of going out and getting some, you can always draw on the eyes on your stick monster too, or paint them. That's perfectly fine. And of course, you can't stick any of your materials onto your stick without glue. So we're just using good old craft glue, just the white craft glue, whatever kind of craft glue you have around your house, whether that's the clear glue or like I know there's like kind of sticky jewel glue, whatever you have around your house that's kind of a regular craft glue will work. For application, we're using a paintbrush. And the reason why we're using a paintbrush, you'll see, is it makes it really easy to apply the glue onto the piece of fabric before you stick it onto the stick. So it's a good way to add your glue onto the things you want to stick to your stick. So we have a bowl with some glue and some paintbrushes for the application. So those are the materials you're going to need. And parents, your role really is being there with your kids to help support them kind of being successful in getting the stuff that they want on their stick. You know, so you're going to kind of maybe hold the stick for them while they're wrapping it. Maybe you help them glue. And so if you have more than one kid, obviously you're going to be balancing that around by walking around and kind of helping them be successful in getting all of their cool things onto their stick. The other thing you might want, which we usually have in our previous activities, is something that will kind of contain the mess. Unless you're okay with getting some glue and stuff on your surface. We just use old baking trays. They are awesome. They contain the mess. You can do all your gluing in them. It's fabulous. So again, we have that too. Or a piece of paper or cardboard or something to lay out on your sheet is fine. Okay, so let's get making. You are going to choose your fabric and your hair.
So like just like a,
and which one you're going to decide which way is going to be up and which way is going to be down.
This is good.
Maybe your creature is sideways. I don't know.
Yeah, and his hair would be like, and then it would be like this way, and then you can make a face like a big eye there and big there.
Totally, you can wrap up. So the direction of your creature could be any way. It could be sideways. It could be up like vertical, up and down.
I'm gonna do this.
When you get to the part where you're doing the fabric on your stick, I recommend that you lay it flat on your tray or whatever your surface is that you're gluing on, and use the paintbrush in the glue to actually apply the glue onto the fabric before putting it on the stick. It just helps the fabric wrap around and stick to the stick a lot better. Stick to the stick. And I also recommend too that because your kids will be probably getting lots of glue on their hands, to have like a little damp cloth that just kind of sits beside them. So as they're working, whenever they get a bunch of glue on their hands, they can just kind of wipe their fingers and keep going. Otherwise, everything's going to end up sticking to them and they'll get pretty frustrated. So what's kind of fun is after, especially if you guys have more than one, and if you have more than one kids, they can become actually little action figures that you can play with, which is kind of cool. Or maybe it's like a puppet.
Yeah, so it can be like
So Lachlan really wanted to kind of make the fabric really bunchy and make it look like a skirt. So the glue wasn't going to hold it together quite as well as, you know, if you were just doing it flat. So we are kind of going with the flow, and we're going to try tying it with some string.
And then cut the excess off.
Yeah, is that going to hold it? Let's see.
Yes.
Oh, it might have been too loose. And then what you can do is go in now and add glue to really hold it like in those places, okay? So like add the glue up there and stuff, and then we can cut. Good. Hi. How are you? Yeah. So there you have it, everybody.
I'm taller than you.
It's not a complicated craft, but it's lots of fun. And then you kind of end up with these little characters at the end. And if you make more than one, or if you have more than one child and they each made one, then they can kind of, maybe they name their sticks. Do you have some names for your sticks?
This is Bobby Ann.
Bobby Ann, and who's this one?
Bobby.
Oh, so we have Bobby and Bobby Ann. So maybe you can name your sticks and bring them to life, and you can actually kind of play with them like little characters, which is fun. Of course, I would recommend letting it dry first before you really engage and play with them. And parents, sometimes the string or whatever you use for the hair, the kids kind of get it on top, and sometimes you kind of have to go in afterwards and add a little bit of glue here and there, just to make sure all the string is on there really well. I hope you enjoyed today's craft. It's lots of fun, and the nice thing about this is it'll be kind of continued fun after all the glue dries, and you can play around with it. I would love to see your own little stick creations. So please, please, please send in pictures of your creations, and maybe if you did name your little stick creatures, what their names are in the pictures, and I'll show them in our next week's show and share. So Bobby and Bobby Ann would like to say thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye!